and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. So for those of you who are new, my name is Christiane, otherwise known here as IHeartAirbrush. In today's video, we are going to be doing stress test number 2 of the Luminess Air matte foundations. Yes, we had an abysmal experience with the Luminess Air matte foundation in our first stress test, but today we're hoping for some redemption. So if you are interested in learning my experience using the Luminess Air matte foundation for our second stress test with all of the add-ons to try to see if and how we can go ahead and make this foundation work for me, then please keep on watching. So we are back at it again with the Luminess Air matte foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive in. We're going to apply the full face using the matte foundation with a little bit of help, of course, because if you recall that last video, the foundation didn't do that well on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few other products that I know work. Yes, they do work, okay, that I know work, in hopes to get a better end result with the foundation. So that being said, I went ahead and toned the skin, got everything off of it. Now I did not use a primer because most primers contain silicone in it, even the ones who claim to be water-based. So it's very hard to find an actual purely water-based formula, especially that doesn't have any dimethicone in it, which is silicone. But yeah, so we have no primer on. No primer, but I did go ahead and prep my skin with Skin Prep Pro. This stuff is magic. Once again, I do not recommend it for everyday use, but when the occasion calls for it, most likely when you're going to be applying airbrush foundation anyway, if you don't use it on the daily like I do, you can go ahead and use Skin Prep Pro as a base for it if you have oily skin. So that being said, I'm going to go in with the same foundation shade. I have nothing on my face right now. I just prepped it, put a little bit of lid primer on, and then some of the Skin Prep Pro. So everything's nice and ready to go. So I'm going to go in with shade number 3, like you can recall from the last video, because that's the shade that seemed to work for me. And then if I need a little bit of a pick-me-up on the shade, because you know this wasn't my exact match, I will go in with shade number 6. So I'm using my Denier compressor, and I'm not using it at 12 o'clock because 12 o'clock seems to be too high of a pressure for this very watery formula. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and use the foundation with my Denier compressor set at 10 o'clock because that is a fairly low PSI that's still going to get a nice smooth spray out. So I'm going to take shade number 3 again because you know we're redundant here. I'm just going to go ahead and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops because your girl needs 8 drops, okay? I'm going to take 8. I used more than 8 in my last video just because I was layering it up. I'm going to stick at 8 this time. Let's stick at 8. So my compressor dial is extremely low, okay? Extremely low. So we're going to go ahead and do the under eye area. Nice and light. Distance, I know it looks like I'm closer than I am. I'm not. Maintaining my distance, because if there's anything I could teach you about airbrush makeup, it's that you need to maintain your distance and you need to get that lever control, girl. So as you can see, this side has some on it, this side does not. This side is more diffused than this side, so we're going to go ahead and even that out. Nice and light layers, light passes. This side has taken some time to dry, okay, and then we're going to go back. Let it dry with the air first, then go back. Still feels wet when you apply it on, but drying down, I guess. We're going to go over top the lid, a little bit there, just to diffuse out some of that discoloration. Spraying lightly, we don't spray heavy. Still see a lot of discoloration in the under eye area, so I'm just going to go out on the outside and blend, taking it down, because we don't want any lines of demarcation on the face. You don't want to see my flaws. You don't want to know my secrets. Okay, and then I'm going to go in and spot conceal just slightly, about an inch away. Diminish the appearance of that. That little gem there. Diminish the appearance of this little gem right there. And then just some of the other little gems I have around my face, like so. Like I said in the last video, this foundation is pretty buildable. So I just kind of spot conceal and move on. If I need some more, then I'll just go back. Taking my time, because you got to take your time with this stuff. It takes time to get coverage and build. See? buildable. Okay, let's go in on the rest of the face. Ooh, my ear is bleeding. I got a cut in my ear. Oh, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Oh, no, it's not cut. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly pull back on the lever. Maintaining my distance, as you can see. I know the different angles, it looks like I'm getting closer to my face. I'm not. I'm maintaining my distance. Blending down the neck. Nice and light. So now finally running out. Finally out. Okay, so let's take a look at my face right now. Okay. Decent coverage, but I can see a lot of my hyperpigmentation through. My skin tone seems to be evened out, but I can still see my redness. Still have discoloration on the under eye area. Okay. It's not me. It's not me, guys. It's the makeup. It's very thin. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just very thin. Why can't y'all just say it's thin? Okay, it's thin. So I'm going to go in with some more. And I'm just going to go ahead and let this set for a second here. I'm going to go in with some more drops. I'm going to go in with about 3 more drops. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's go in with 4 more drops. Let's make an even 12. And then I'm going to go in with the Final Seal and mix it into the foundation and then apply it all over to go ahead and seal in my foundation. It's 1, 2, 3 drops of Final Seal. Back bubbling. Make sure it's like all nice and mixed. Everything looks good. Alright, let's go in. Final layer. Still at 10 o'clock on my dial. I do not like the way that Final Seal smells. It has a funky smell to it. I don't like it. As you can see, this mixture is taking me pretty far. Now it's all done. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a close-up after I rinse out my airbrush. So the Final Seal made my skin feel tight. This is the coverage with 12 drops and some Final Seal. That's the coverage. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and finish the rest of my face, but first things first, I'm going to set the under eye area, and for that I'm using my Mary Kay setting powder. So this powder works really great. I've had no issues with it, so I'm going to go ahead and use it to set my under eye area like so, because we know that this foundation creases, and we don't want it to crease. Okay, that also added a little bit of coverage, which is good. Not too much, just a little bit. You know, powders tend to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take some more, set the other one. Alright, so now that my under eye is set, I'm going to go ahead and go in and dust off any excess. And then I'm going to go in with some bronzer, and here I'm using Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade Soleil. I'm just going to go ahead and give my skin a nice bronze. Now what I did find about the Luminess Air foundations is that it doesn't really play all that well even after it's set. So you have to just be really careful and just use a really light hand when using a brush that you don't wipe away any of the product. Just gonna go ahead and, ooh, there we go, nice and light. There we go. So now that my face is a little bit bronze, not too much, just a little bit, I'm gonna go in with blush, and here I'm using Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. Now I'm all blushed and flushed. Okay, and I'm gonna go in and do my eye makeup. And for that, I'm going to use a different brand of airbrush makeup. So I'm going to come back and do my brows and my eye makeup, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, so this is my completed makeup. As you can see, I went in and did my eyeshadow. My brows are done. Girl, nothing else happened to the face. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and give you one more close-up, do a time check, and then I will check in with you guys later to see how the makeup held up. So alright, so that is the full face right now, and the time is 1:32. As you can see, 1:32. Yes, And yeah, so I will go ahead and check back in with you in maybe 2 to 3 hours to go ahead and see how long the makeup wore. So yeah. Okay, I'm in a different area, different lighting, so I just want to go ahead and show you the makeup, the color. Let's go to a different lighting. Okay, now this is natural light coming in from a window. You can see the color. You might be washed out a little bit, but you can see pretty good. The coverage. Okay. A little bit further back from the window, so it's not as washed out. See the coverage. Face. That's my kid's closet back there. But yeah. Alright, girl. I will see you in a little bit. Alright, so I am back after an hour and a half of wear up. So the time is now 2:48. Yeah, 2:48. So it's been a little bit over an hour now. I wanted to wait until the hour and a half mark, but you know, I have a limited time to go ahead and cut in and out of filming with my kids. So it's been about an hour and a half, and you can already see that the makeup is holding up on my skin. I'm going to go ahead and give you a close up. Okay, so as you just saw, the makeup is holding up on my skin beautifully. My skin is not oily or greasy like it was in the original stress test. So it's looking good so far. So I'm going to go ahead and check back in with you guys again at the 4 hour mark, and then we'll go ahead and check in again at the 8 hour mark and see where we're at. So yeah, I'll see y'all in a few hours. Alright, we are back for another check-in after 4 hours of wear, of course. And right now the time is 5:37. You can see it's 5:37, which means it's a little over 4 hours of wear. So let me be the one to point out that the makeup is doing 100 times better than how it did on the original stress test. I'm just saying, in its pure form. When I was at this point, I was a hot mess, honey. Hot mess. Okay, right now I'm doing pretty damn decent, if I must say so myself. Okay, so that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a good close-up. Okay, so like I said before, there is no fading, minimal cracking. Overall, the makeup is holding up really, really well. There's a little bit of slight creasing on the under eye area, but nothing major that's making me regret putting this on my face today. So far, I think my little attitudes are, I think they're working okay. But yeah, so it's all working out, and so far I'm pretty happy. I don't feel gross. I feel a little bit greasy on my skin, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The makeup is still on. I still look okay. So we're gonna omit that little detail right there. But yeah, it still looks good. So we'll see how it looks at the 8 hour mark. See if I get any greasier. See what's going on. We'll check how many blotting tissues it takes to go ahead and get all the grease off of my skin at that point. And yeah, so that's it for this check-in. So I will see you guys at the 8 hour mark. Alright, so this day has come to an end. It is now currently 9:33 in the evening. Yeah, 9:33. So we've had this makeup on for about 8 hours now. And I must say, in comparison to my first stress test, using this makeup on its own, the way they recommended it, okay, on its own, this is a lot better. This is way better. Okay, so I am a little bit greasy here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you a close-up of my face right now in its current state. This is a close-up, a super close-up of what it looks like. So we got a little bit of cracking going on here. Pores are gigantor, but I got big pores anyway. Okay. We lost a little on the nose. Some fading. Okay, under eye. Let's see there. Okay. Chin. Forehead. All right, so the makeup has survived until the end of the day, and as you saw, it doesn't look horrible. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my blotting sheets and just kind of see how much oil buildup we have on there. Quite a bit, not as much as before though, so I ain't mad at it. Okay, we're gonna blot, and then what I want to do with blotting and why I choose to blot is just to see if the makeup is gonna come off with the oils on my skin. Because if it does come off, then I'll have to find a way to touch up this makeup throughout the day, because I will need to blot with my oily skin. But it doesn't look like it's transferring. So everything's holding on really nice and tight to my skin. This is one sheet down, and there's no transfer. There you go. There's no transfer of makeup onto the sheet. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give you another close-up to go ahead and see after blotting if the makeup was disturbed, but it doesn't look like it was disturbed, so we're gonna do it anyway. I always feel weird getting this close. Alright, so not too shabby, I must say, but then again, this method is kind of foolproof for airbrush makeup, at least from my experience. Anyways, yeah, so it looks like the makeup is good, which means we found a way to go ahead and increase the longevity of the makeup. Unfortunately, I can't say that you do minimal to increase the longevity of the makeup. You definitely have to do quite a few more steps. I would say the equivalent of using traditional makeup, because you do have to go in with a setting powder. You definitely, if you want coverage, you're gonna have to go in with a water-based concealer. And then you'll have to go in with some sort of primer, be it a water-based primer or a toner like I use today. And you'll also have to go in with some kind of setting spray. In this instance, I did go ahead and add the Final Seal, which is their version of an airbrush setting spray. You know, it's that last finishing spray. I went in with that inside the actual makeup, and it's good, man. It's good. It looks good. Honey, it looked good. But yes, overall, I was able to go ahead and get the foundation to stay on my skin for the whole 8-hour period. I think if I went any longer than 8 hours, then I might have experienced a lot more trouble with this foundation, only because I started to notice where the foundation started to break apart and lift here around my nostril area. I did notice that I did lose some pigmentation. I had some fading around the nose area where I have my pores and I get oily. I did notice some fading, of course, here in the middle of my forehead, hence the T-zone. You know, I'll get some disruption in the T-zone after 8 hours of wear. So I'm not sure how much past 8 hours of wear, even with my tips or chips, I can get without having to do extra, like using a powder or going in with another concealer or retouching the makeup in general all over again. So yeah, overall, you saw it. This is how you get the Luminess Air Matte Foundation to stick on your skin, girl. It ain't gonna give you coverage, but you can definitely make it stick on your skin. Alright, so that about wraps it up for this video. I will go ahead and give another video giving my final thoughts on the matte foundation, what I think about it, my experience with it, and all that good stuff, so just stay tuned for that. along with our next stress test, testing out the Luminess Air Ultra Foundation. So make sure that you're subscribed and stay tuned for that. As always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it or enjoyed it or found it informative, of course. And then remember to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It costs you nothing and you get to be a part of my airbrush family here. Yeah, and if you do choose to subscribe today, or if you're already subscribed, make sure to go ahead and hit that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. That way you get the quickest updates anytime I upload a video. All right, so once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one. All right, bye.